Hello, welcome to episode 55 of A Daily Dose of Donna. This is the Rooted in Wisdom series, and today I'm sharing with you about compassion in the workplace. Does compassion even belong in the workplace? And if it does, where does it fit in? So, in this kind of new era, and we could even say pandemic era, post pandemic, because we are still in a pandemic, inching our way out of it, there is emerging a new innovative way of being and living and working where things should be blended together because they are anyway as we work from home. There's never been this idea of balance as far as I'm concerned. Work and home have been blended for a long time, and people are still talking about seeking balance. So that's a topic for another day. But today I'm talking about compassion and where it fits in the workplace and why this is so important about our blended lifestyles of work, home, community, all packaged together, following us wherever we go, right? We can't get away from any aspect of our life. Most of us, right? Our work follows us home, our home follows us to work. We're involved in community through our personal life and through our work life. So it's just all packaged together. And with that, so often it's easy to become overwhelmed, fatigued in all aspects because we don't really get a break. We're all consuming. And so organizations that are progressive and focused on this idea of what I call conscious leadership are integrating compassion into the workplace. And it's more important now, post pandemic, than ever before. So, what does that really mean? Well, actually, did you know that LinkedIn, yes, LinkedIn has their own what is he? Head of mindfulness and compassion programs. They literally have an entire department of this 16,000 plus employee organization because it is so important. They have realized it is so important to their bottom line and the culture and the well being of their 16,000 employees that they have an entire division dedicated to the wellness of their employees through mindfulness and compassion. In fact, LinkedIn has been doing so well. Last year, their revenue increased 19% in 2020 in a pandemic, 19% over 2019 at generating $8 billion. So, why am I telling you that? Because if freaking LinkedIn cares about goddamn compassion in the workplace, so should you. If it increases their bottom line and they're willing to invest in having a head of compassion and mindfulness and integrating it into their workplace across the world of all the places where their employees are, so should you. So why is it important and why is company culture so critical to our bottom line? Well, compassion, one of the things that is important about compassion, and compassion is really misunderstood. So sometimes people think of compassion as empathy, right? Or being too soft, right? Too forgiving, too lenient. It's not that at all. Although it could look like that, right? But in a compassionate culture, it's more about giving grace and being supportive and understanding and acceptance of what is and where maybe the limitations are of your team and pitching in, but being more relatable and having a way of being that is supportive to reduce stress and build resilience. So, what they have found out is that there a culture I'm like stuck on C's the last 2 days. I feel like this is building on yesterday a bit. So A culture of compassion actually breeds passion. Because when we are compassionate and we feel supported and we're able to support others in their beliefs and in their efforts, in their roles, we become more passionate. And part of that is because we now have a safe environment. Again, we've gotten rid of that cultivating competition when we are integrating more compassion into the workplace. And part of that compassionate workplace, or what I'm calling this conscious leadership workplace, where you have mindfulness and people are learning how to regulate their nervous system. That, you know what happens when we regulate our nervous system? Our frontal lobe comes back online. And you know what happens when we do that? We're actually more creative and we can think more clearly and we can make better decisions and we can make decisions more quickly that are the right decisions. Again, based on clarity and having a calm nervous system. I feel like I just said that 3 times. Okay. So when our nervous system is stressed out or we're in an environment where we don't feel safe, and not feeling safe at work is I'm afraid I'm going to get criticized, or I'm afraid I'm going to make a mistake and get fired. And when you have a culture of compassion, those things are almost eliminated, because your intent is to support and build capacity in your employees or your teammates or whoever it is that is helping you grow your organization. So, and when people who care, I originally wrote this down, I was thinking in my head, people who care, and it kind of wasn't sure if that made sense or not, but people who care, but people who care are engaged. And that's my point, right? So people who feel like they are cared for, they care. And that's what compassion can build. And then you have a more engaged personnel. And then guess what happens when people are more engaged? Well, it's kind of like what we said yesterday, right? They become more committed, right? And they have more of a purpose for being there because you've given them one. And people are all of us. This is like, I just got done saying earlier today, like when people say all and everyone and never and that stuff, it drives me crazy. But this is a truth, I think. We all want some meaning in our life. We want to be part of something bigger than ourselves. And when we're in an organization that promotes compassion and has mindfulness practices, there's a purpose behind that. And people want to be part of something, that a company that's going somewhere, that cares and has some meaning. So I don't mean just a mission on the wall that nobody even knows what it is. I mean living it inside the organization. So wanting to be part of something bigger is about making contribution and being able to be part of a purpose, which then is going to help others find their purpose. And again, if we look at it as a whole collective, we're all here to uplift and bring out the best in others. And in a company, when you're doing that, you're bringing a better experience to your customers, clients, patients, whatever that is, right? Because your people are doing better. They feel better, they do better. When we feel better, we do better. When we do better, we treat others better. And then when we treat others better, they do business with us because they like us and they trust us. And it's like this whole cycle, right? All right. So I wanted to share that with you because I think that this idea of creating healthier workplaces through conscious leadership principles is critical in this new era. And like I said, I don't know, yesterday, last week, probably every day, is that as an organization, if you're not creating these better cultures and these new and improved and innovative workplace, like 21st century workplaces, then you're going to be shrinking behind and you're going to be struggling to get people in your organization that care. Because if you don't seem to care, you're just going to attract more of that, or they're going to be uninspired to take action. So I wanted to share with you, because I thought these were really good, an article that I got that reminded me about this fact with LinkedIn about having this whole department on mindfulness and compassion. And so these are 6 simple steps for building a culture of compassion. And really, these are things that are just like, again, across your whole life. These are things that you can embody yourself as an individual, because you should really be embodying them and modeling them to filter them into your organization, right? But even it doesn't even matter where you are within any organization, or you are your organization like I am mine. Again, having clients, working with people at the community level, the more we embody these things, the better we feel, and the more, again, we're going to have more influence and more impact with those that we're engaging with. So here are 6 simple steps for building a culture of compassion. Number 1 is micro compassion. So here's what that means for this author, who is the man that, I don't know his name off the top of my head. What is his? David Shute. I think it's David Shute, Shute, the head of compassion and mindfulness at LinkedIn. These are his 6 steps that he shared for building a culture of compassion. So micro compassions are these little mini everyday opportunities, right? Where, let me see what his example is. When we're moving from the idea of me to we, anytime we're uplifting someone or anytime we're making connections. And these are things we can do consciously to help someone else's light shine brighter. The second thing is, so those are easy things to do, right? Like just complimenting someone, supporting them, say, hey, do you need an extra hand today? Can I help you get done with your project a little more quickly? Anything like that, right? And then the second one is smiling. This is the easiest thing freaking ever. If you don't do this, you have to just do this just like for the game of it, but then you will be hooked on it. Because anytime especially, it's so weird, right? With all the masks since the pandemic, and now people are starting to unmask. But even before that, you would smile at not with masks, because nobody knows you're freaking smiling. But without a mask, if you're walking by someone and you're looking at them and they're just like stoic or whatever, you can smile at them and they will smile back, or they will then make a comment, or you could feel like the energy just completely shift, right? Especially now, as people are still carrying around a lot of fear and confusion around, the COVID and how we're supposed to behave in close proximity with each other, masking or not masking. And it just builds so much uncertainty still. So a simple smile can really relieve the tension. And that is a really great micro compassion. The third one is compliments. So when we see someone, we first smile, right? And then we can immediately, because our guards are down, people are now open and receptive because we've acknowledged each other. And it's just a great open door to be able to compliment someone in the most genuine way possible. Like, you have nice earrings, or that color looks great on you, that kind of thing. Or even, as they say here, I always appreciate seeing you. Now, you might not want to say that to someone in the grocery store if you've never seen them before. That would be weird. All right, just checking to see if you're listening. Okay, the number 4 is inclusion. In meetings, we often hear only a few voices. So inclusion is not like diversity and what we're talking about now, right? And this inclusion is, let's include everybody in the room. Let's give everyone an opportunity to be heard. In fact, let's encourage everyone to be heard. Not that they've just been given an opportunity, because we can open up the floor and say, and we see this a lot in the digital space now because meetings are in Zoom. And it's like, okay, share your thoughts or your comments or your questions, unmute yourself and speak, or put it in the chat. Dead air. Because people are like, feels awkward, I don't want to unmic, or I'm just going to be invisible over here and hopefully no one bothers me. And that does not provide for an inclusive where people can feel part of the team and part of belonging. So help bring that out to encourage them and build their skills. Okay, and number 5. Number 5, cannot miss number 5, is listening. OMG. So just listen with the intent of deeply understanding the other person. So this is what is known as active listening. So you're listening without an agenda. You're listening without already calculating your rebuttal or thinking ahead or interrupting because you already have determined what the question is and you just want to snap to it and get to the answer instead of being chill about it and allowing the person to be heard. So that is number 5. And then number 6 is curiosity. So curiosity is what... oh my God, my phone is ringing crazy. Number 6 is curiosity. What question can you ask that will light someone up? Make it a point to remember asking things like, how's that piano project coming along? Or happy birthday? Or did your kid get home from college? Or how was your picnic on the weekend? Or what are you most grateful for today? All right, so really it's just making curious inquiry to build connection and showing that you're acknowledging the other human in the room with you, that you share workspace with, and that they are not invisible and that they do belong. And these are super simple things to help build a more engaged, compassionate workplace, because I think I said last night, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And we can do these little micro compassions as a way to do that. So with these little simple gestures, as he says, because why? Because it makes people feel better. And it makes us feel better being able to contribute in that way. And it's that feedback loop. It's always the feedback loop. When I make them feel better, I feel better. When I feel better, we do better, right? Like it's the whole thing. So making the investment in building capacity and implementing practices of compassion and encouraging mindfulness in the workplace is going to reduce your employees' stress, minimize overwhelm, build their leadership capacity skills, and be making better decisions and having more creative power online, which is what we need right now. All right, so that was compassion in the workplace. Let me know your thoughts on what you think companies should be doing, what you think your workplace should be doing to integrate compassion or mindfulness. Is it right or is it wrong? All right, see you tomorrow.